How's it going, everybody? We are back on the Backwoods Sports Podcast. And this week we have Magee by our side like normal, but we also have Jay. I see Alyssa up on the screen, but I see how it's going.
How's it going,
So, how's
guys?
it going, boys?
So
Good, good. Man, this last weekend of divisional round football, everything going on in that, and then getting even crazier coming up here with the All-Star break soon in the NBA. So all those things coming out. McGee's got a lot for us on deck with that for sure. But don't want to say too much to spoil a lot for the show. So we're just gonna kick it right over here into the local sports, starting off with the C's with McGee.
yeah, well, the Celtics, since the last time we talked, they went 2-2. But hey, we must have stoked a fire under Jason Tatum because
Definitely.
last Friday against the Hawks, him and JB combined for 46. The game before that against the Kings, they combined for 66. Against the Wizards last Sunday, Tatum had his 51 piece, and
Oh yeah.
on the close loss to the Blazers, Tatum had I think 26 or 27. So he's actually been playing a lot better since we've been consistently calling him out. So maybe he can keep it up and really push those Celtics into the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, it's for sure, man. And we'll kick it over here next in the local sports in the last spot here. The Bruins, man, they were coming into the week hot. Then they got one more dub over there in Winnipeg, 3-2, going up there and getting a good one. But just had to run into Anaheim and Colorado. Those ones are two rough ones, going 5-3 in the loss to Anaheim, 4-3 in a absolute terrible fashion. They were up 3-1. I think it was about 2 minutes left, and Omar was playing so hot and just let two not soft ones, but not too great ones in. But last night they rebounded up against the Coyotes out there, and oh man, was that a rough one at first. But they pulled away with it in 2-1 in the end. It was a rough and tough grinder, and moving right along though. So going on in the season now, I think they're in fourth place or third place in the division or conference, should I say? So they're shaping up to do pretty good. They're 25, 13, and 3 right now in the season, so not doing bad by any stretch. And don't forget they still got Rask coming back over here. I think in this next game off with his rest. So we'll see how that all goes. But we're gonna kick it over here next to the NFL segment, and some of these head coaches, man, all these turnovers going around, all the things you guys have seen. What do you have to say about it?
It seems like it's a real hunt for the next guy, and it just seems to be interview after interview of any possible candidate. And some guys taking jobs, but I don't think I would have liked to see where the Bears went with the Colts defensive coordinator. I think they could have found a better guy for the job, but
Almost definitely.
there's a lot of openings out there.
No, there definitely are, man. But I mean, like, it's just crazy. Like Sean Payton dipping out and all the reports coming out about, the Cowboys and stuff. And I know he just left on his own and everything, or, that's at least the reports of it. So that all happens. I wonder now what's up with Taysom Hill. Like, how's that contract going to flex? Or are they just going to be like, well, we can cut you and barely pay you. So here you go.
They're in salary cap hell over there, over $74 million over the cap. So they got a lot of moving around to do.
I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
second
definitely gonna be
highest
tough.
in the league.
Yep.
I think
Yeah, and they were in the
they
same
would
position last year too, so it was tough for them. But I feel like all these teams massage their way around the cap and get back to somewhat of a decent number at the end of the day. So we'll see how it goes for him, man. But all those reports I was saying before about coming out of Dallas, or not out of Dallas, should I say, but about Dallas back in 2009. Did you guys see that at all?
No.
No, I didn't.
No, okay. They had this stuff there with what the heck's his name? It was Jerry Jones talking about how they wanted to get Peyton back then, and they basically had a deal halfway done. But who else but someone that's not even involved in the sport? Anthony Davis comes in and has to force his way out of New Orleans himself. So the owner went and made a decision when they were already halfway through with Peyton basically behind the scenes going to Dallas for the next year um, that they weren't going to make that deal because they didn't want to have two high-profile guys leave at one time. So, like, pretty crazy news and something we basically never even heard of until now, unless I guess you were in their region maybe. But
Yeah.
Still seems like really new news. I just saw it the other day, so I was like, holy crap! Like that would have shaken up so much, and it was right when they basically wanted to first fire Jason Garrett. So like I don't know, pretty crazy stuff to me. But kicking it over here next though to that Flores news before we jump off into the small recap we're gonna do here. Man, does that even make sense to you guys? Because
That
it
was
doesn't to me.
that was probably the biggest surprise so far that I've seen, since like the trade deadline, really.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean it has to be personal, right?
you would
Well,
think he did so well. What didn't they win 8 of their last 9 games or something
They
crazy like
won
that?
9 of their last 11, I thought, or something like that.
Yeah.
9 or 11.
I
Yeah,
don't think it was what Brian Flores did. I think there was tensions going on with him and the GM, and the GM had been there for over 20 years, and Flores has only been there for 2 years. So
yeah,
with experience over the guy who's bringing them success for the first time in a decade.
Maybe
yeah.
the
That's
GM
crazy, man.
maybe the GM didn't want any chance of getting Deshaun Watson, so he said, "Get out of here."
Yeah, seriously. Like that's what some of the things were coming out. Like the whispers were like that's kind of the reasoning. It's like I get it, I guess, but if you guys say no at the end of the day, you're like a owner, so it kind of like goes that way, you know. Like you
Yeah,
have to have all approval to get these things done. So I don't know. It's just I guess you don't want to put the hand over power too many times to a coach, and then I guess you lose trust between each other, something like that.
he's
But
definitely a great coach, and wherever he goes, he's gonna find success. I think.
Hmm.
yeah, dude, exactly. I was about to say the same thing, man. Like he was really showing out, and especially for flipping the roster damn near every year, he was flipping a bunch of positions and making things work, and that was just crazy to see for a coach. And they're normally a decent team down there, but he just really never started off too hot, but always finished. But next, we'll get over here to the recap, man. We're going to kick it to these Bengals and Titans, that first game of the weekend. And probably, I mean, not the best game because, it got better as the weekend got on, but just a great showing, except for the offensive line for the Bengals because they didn't
I think that's a day they like to forget.
Is that 8
Nine
Yeah.
sacks?
sacks,
9?
8 or
Yeah,
9.
was it like 9, 10, something like that? It was wild how many sacks he had,
They're gonna get
dude. Playoff
destroyed
record.
next round. I'm sorry, Joe Burrow. You better make sure that ambulance is on the sideline. I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm hopeful, man. I'm hopeful for them. I think they'll do all right.
Don't get
Because,
me
dude,
wrong,
those
it's going to be a
Titans,
great
though,
game, but if that line is doing that with Tennessee,
that is true. Can't lie about that, I guess. But dude, Tennessee though, Derrick Henry, everyone was sitting there. Yeah, he's back. It's going to be this, wild show. And what did I say at the beginning of the year? It was he's going to get hurt and it's going to affect him. Even if he comes back, it's going to be a nothing. And what was it? A nothing. 20
Oh,
carries, 62 yards, something like that.
oh, he was
Nothing.
going down with ease. Like it wasn't the normal Derrick Henry you'd see just deflect 4 or 5 tackles. He was first guy
Yeah.
to him is just taking him down.
Yeah, and they knew go low and like hitting with the plate in his foot. They reported like right before the game, he had like the
Yeah,
metal plates. It's like okay, what are you doing? Like, you're ruining your career out there at this point, is what I think. But I mean, they're professionals, so I'll give it up to them, whatever they think and stuff. But just wild stuff to me. But man, even Joe Burrow, he didn't really show out too crazy, but 28 to 37 for 348, not bad. But he had a pick and no touchdown, so it was kind of a little wild there. But
they utilize their weapons a ton. Like Jamar Chase hit the century mark again. T.
oh yeah,
Higgins just shy.
yep.
That CJ, the tight end. Joe Mixon had 6 receptions. Like they just know how to get the ball to the guys they need to, and that's what's winning them the games. They're getting in field goal position, hit the game-winning field goal. Thank you very much. See you later.
Yeah, no, exactly, man. That was like the funniest thing is that no matter what happened, Jamar Chase was just killing. In every game, he really has at least had one or two plays where he makes a huge difference in a game.
Mhm.
So, and even if it's in the run blocking game, stuff like that, he makes plays. He's a playmaker. He's always around the ball.
yeah,
He's
he's
a big
definitely a
guy.
huge impact at such a young age. It's crazy.
Yeah, the only guy I really saw in that game that on the Titan side, should I say, that really made a difference to me was AJ Brown, man. Going 5 of 142 and a touchdown. That beautiful touchdown, man. 28 average on the day on catches. That that man is real, and he needs to get out of a place that ain't as real as I thought it. Because I thought Vrabel was running a great tight ship there and doing a great job, but I mean, I know injuries are one thing, but shoot, man, you got too many weapons to be bowing out this quick. Just ran into old Burrow, smoking Joe Burrow. But look, yeah, for real, man. We'll get over next though to this even better game than the last one. Like I said, these things are just stacking up, man. 49ers and the Packers, that thing was wild. Absolutely nothing but an A.J. Dillon touchdown, and then absolute craziness ensued after that. Just wild.
I mean,
All those
Rodgers is that
turnovers.
playoff choke artist at this point. He's just
Yeah,
that one
it's
year he
pretty
had.
wild.
After that, it's just choke, choke, choke. No matter who they're playing against, no matter where they are.
Yeah,
Starting to
no,
be
definitely.
his
Yeah,
MO.
I feel bad for A-Rod for that. The way it ended, especially with the block punt right towards the end zone, leading to a touchdown for the defense. I mean,
Yep.
they didn't even allow an offensive touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah,
can't
no,
put up
they
10
didn't.
points and expect to win a game, though.
Yeah, no, exactly. So
Yeah, no,
deserving
exactly. That's
loss
just
because you didn't
wild.
put up enough, but it's just the way it ended. That's heartbreak for someone like A-Rod with his circumstances, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I fell asleep towards the end of that game. It was a long night that night, but I remember at least waking up and watching the other end of it after. And I mean, he just seemed to. It's not to be mean at all, but the whole thing about the foot, man, it kind of came back to bite him. I guess I would say. Besides that, the 49ers just played absolutely amazing defense. They knew what to do for him and take him down in his own time. But that was just wild to be honest. Just I called it. I did call it, but that was such a toss up. I would never play against it. But one thing after that though, Jay, you mentioned over here before about Kynes being called out by Jeff Garcia, man.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see it live when it happened, but I guess, I mean, her and along with millions of other people that pointed out Jimmy G's one bad game, but she got such bad backlash from Jeff Garcia for it, and it really did become a bit of a sexual tirade about it, just calling her out. Oh, you've never thrown a football before. You've never played football. It's like, you don't have to play the game to be
Yeah,
able
dude.
to see when a guy's throwing to the wrong team. You
I
know,
hate when people make that argument, like, "Oh, you never played organized ball. You don't know what you don't know what you're talking about." Be like, bro.
Exactly.
like,
Yeah, no, it's just wild, man. Like, okay, so we'll talk about this one here. So Jeff Garcia, let's look at Jimmy Garoppolo's stats from last game. 11 of 19, 131. That's a 6.9 average. No touchdowns, a pick, and he was sacked 4 times on 25 rushes, 57 rating, 11 QBR. Like, okay, I'll give you one thing. He game managed. He held on to the ball well enough at the end of the day, but still, even one play that doesn't happen in that game, he didn't hold on to the ball well enough technically. So yeah, that was a pretty shit game. And for that round, he shouldn't have made it past with playing that kind of game. But I in the end of the day, I just look at it as look at Jeff Garcia himself. Guy comes in the league. He's not the greatest quarterback. Like he was pretty good. I'll give him that. I'm not going to shit all over him because that's just not who I am. But I will say, but I will say that man, you came into the league with Terrell Owens and Jerry Rice and all these legends from Steve Young and Joe Montana, like those eras. That like, what the hell are you doing here, man? Like you got everything, the talent, and where would you go? You know, come on.
Yeah,
Where
who's
would you go if you were
talking?
this guy?
mhm.
Yeah,
Who won
come
the
on. Look
talk?
who's talking. Like, let's go. But anyway, we'll move on from that though, because I don't want to smash too many heads. But yeah, dude, I think this next round is going to be massive for them, and that offense is going to need to light it up. Debo and Kittle over there is going to have to kill it. So we'll see how all that goes. But news out of the Packers though, there was AJ Dillon breaking his ribs. Pretty I think it was around halftime area or something like that, or third quarter. Someone had mentioned, but I wasn't sure about that. But stinks for that. Hopefully, he gets recovered pretty soon and everything going into the next season. Uh, so, besides all that, you guys have that news over here coming out about Nathaniel Hackett, Packers OC, heading over to the Broncos. All this news firing up now. Everyone's painting him over into those uniforms with that
And
number 12 on.
they're
Old Aaron
doing
Rodgers.
everything they possibly can to get Aaron Rodgers over in Denver. I mean, when was the last time Denver was able to go out and draft a quarterback and be the guy for the future?
No way.
Never. They're always going and trading for these all-pro Super Bowl winning quarterbacks to come in and just guide them for a year or two. And then they're like, oh, that's good enough. We'll be average for 6 more years, and then we'll do it again. And then it's what they do.
Yeah, they had a height with Manning, but like you said, that was one of those signings. And I mean, it would be a huge signing for him. Like I said before on record earlier this week, is that I truly believe if they're to do anything, and like if Aaron doesn't just push his way out and end up having to be able to sign, he has to trade. I truly believe Aaron is going to get traded there for probably Cortland Sutton, because you might want to think that Devontae is probably going to go with him, so they don't exactly need Sutton there, and either a first, second, however it goes, and/or toss in Drew Lock. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater's not on contract, I'm pretty sure. But,
I think a first and Sutton might be a little much. I mean, that Sutton alone.
Maybe, but it is Aaron Rodgers, though.
I know.
Aaron Rodgers. And
but then you only have him on that 1-year contract, which
and the Packers are going to be wanting to get rid of him so bad because after last.
But that's why they probably, I would assume, would restructure before deal, or like within the deal restructure it.
Well, I think A-Rod's crazy that he thinks he's going to get Devontae Adams and Scannon to go with him wherever he goes. But just a quick question. With his contract, obviously there's 1 year left, so you can force a trade or whatever. Couldn't he just retire and then sign somewhere else with a new contract, and then just void this next coming season?
I know it's weird. He has that void thing in his contract and everything. I was looking at that on one of the sites earlier this week.
Can't you just retire?
It's kind of confusing. See, normally when you retire and you go to come back, you're still with the team. So that's what it's really confusing.
Yeah, they would have to trade him regardless.
I don't know. I think they have to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Unless like
the same thing happened with with Gronk and with Marshawn Lynch a couple of years ago. He essentially retired, but he came back and he was still under contract, so they had to trade him.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Exactly. It's been everybody that comes back or does whatever. Like old Calvin Johnson. Maybe if they kept Stafford, he would have came back or something. Never. No. He's too far into what he's doing. But man, I don't know. Just crazy news of all that Aaron Rodgers stuff. Just moving right along from that though. But moving on to another GOAT, the real GOAT, TB12, another king of the weekend going down, man. Just absolutely insane. The Rams doing what they did, actually staying pretty persistent throughout the day. I know the Buccaneers came on back late, but that huge play by Cooper Kupp at the end to set them up for that game-winning field goal, just nothing shy of beautiful. I mean, I hated it because I was really rooting for Tom, but hell of a play by the goddamn man. Cooper, you killing it this year.
And his one touchdown was huge, too.
The touchdown was massive, too, but that catch was just like to put the game on ice. Right?
I think the biggest, most important stat of that game that mattered the most in the victory was the Matt Stafford 0 interceptions.
Yes, no, definitely. Matt Stafford's had a huge issue with that in the past, man. That's for sure. And it's not always the worst like throws. It's just kind of timely. The defense is just really jumping those routes and stuff, man. And they have a lot of action going on at times as well. Huh?
I said they've been his throws sometimes.
Oh no, definitely are sometimes. I'm just saying there's a lot more that more Lions days, should I say? A lot of those tip plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's a pretty good game for them, though. I mean, I wouldn't say they went absolutely over the top, but Odell showing up in his fashion with 69 yards and 6 catches, doing what he did, mixing it up and everything. And then Kendall Blayton out of nowhere with a random touchdown. I didn't even know. I wouldn't even have expected it one bit, but it happened because that's their team. They're just finding new guys any week to score.
Now it raises the questions following the game. Is it the last that we've seen of Tom Brady?
Exactly.
So
that's where everyone's sitting right now, and he said he's going to take a little bit to decide. Today reporting that it was seeming a little more closer to retirement. I'm not sure if it's real, though. It's just one of those that everyone always speculates on, just like Aaron Rodgers news, everything like that. You're going to do it all damn off season because that's just what you got to do. Keep people going. But, man, I don't really know. It's tough. You see him lose AB in that fashion towards the end there, and I don't know, maybe that just kind of sparks him where he's like, shit, it's not always gonna work out just perfect, And how many years is he gonna waste trying to catch another ring?
Yeah, I think if he were to come back, he just maybe 1 year, and then maybe like a 10 day or like a 1 day, sorry, with the Pats. Maybe I don't know. That'd be my
Yeah.
prediction. I wouldn't. I'd like to see him come back 1 more year. Definitely. I don't think at this point anyone wants to see him retire. To be honest.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone does either. And I mean, I'm definitely one of those people. I've been wanting him. I've said since damn near 35, something like that. He's going to 50, and everyone's laughing. And I mean, like, yeah, it's getting to that point where he's like, look, he said himself he was looking more like late, close to 45, but maybe not 45. And then he was talking about 50, so he even was just bouncing back and forth. And said recently it was been a year-to-year thing recent, past couple of years. So.
He's like
Guy's
most people
changing his
retire in
mind.
their
He's got a lot of
60s.
business. Yeah, dude, he's got a lot of business he handles, man. So I mean, I think he maybe wants to get onto all that, and especially the family too.
I think
Be
he
there
just
for
wants
all
to
that.
steal Ben's thunder one more time.
Yeah, right.
Supposed to be Ben's
He's got to
season to
take it.
retire, not his. All right, get your
Oh
own.
yeah, no, for sure, man. That would honestly, that's why I wasn't sure. I'm like watching it, and it's you see him walk off the field and stuff, and you're kind of sitting there laughing, like, I don't think this can be the end because there's nothing. And if that's the way he wanted to go, and that's the way it went, then like that's great. But
I mean,
I don't know.
you never really know because I mean, if you look back to the Browns and the Steelers playoff game last year,
Yeah,
Big Ben and Marcus Pouncey were crying on the bench together at the end of the game.
yeah,
Everyone's like, they're done. That's it. They're talking about retiring. You're never going to see them again. Then Ben says, you know what? One more year. All right. And then you don't hear really anything about it besides fans demanding that he retires
yeah.
until 2-3 weeks before the end of this regular season. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
well, I might, and probably. And he pretty much just got forced into retirement. Brady didn't deal with none of that. And now he's ending this season and it's like, oh, he looks to be okay. But now there's more reports coming out saying he kind of wants to be with his family. He kind of wants to run these businesses. He kind of wants to just walk away from the game when he's on top and not be walking out when he's bad, like Ben this year.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The other difference is Brady still has more in the tank. Ben obviously.
Yeah, for sure. Ben was hobbling up and down the field and just
Yeah, old burglar there. He was
recliner and
just making it by. There's some of those games this year. Was it Cincinnati or I think Cleveland, something like that, where he like went to throw a ball and he just like collapsed. He's like,
Yep.
it was just kind of awkward to see, and like it's like, damn, man. And he's played a long time. He was especially in the beginning of his career just such a rough and tough quarterback, a man that would absolutely duke it out with anybody, run through anybody, break any
And
bones.
not to cut you off, Hollis, but a little bit of breaking news that just came in from ESPN.
Oh yeah, what's up? What's up? Breaking
Tom Brady is
news.
officially retired.
Who? What?
Tom Brady is officially retired.
Tom Brady.
Whoa!
Oh, what?
Wow!
Okay, we're
Wow.
just on the topic of
Tom Brady is retiring from football after 22 years and 7 Super Bowl titles.
Illuminati show.
Go live on the show, boys.
Live on the show, the Illuminati
Who we're
show that
talking about.
Dan and I talked about.
Right in the heart. He knew it was happening. Congratulations, Tom Brady, on a
congratulations.
No doubt.
Oh man.
Awesome.
Damn.
Wow. Congrats, Tom
TB12,
Brady.
man. TB12 to the day I die. I freaking die. F Goodell. All that shit. That's what I'm talking about. Patriots to the freaking max, man. 6 goddamn Super Bowls. Tom fucking Brady. That's the fucking GOAT right there. Can't top that.
Yep. And I'll tell
Won't
you.
top that.
I'll
Pat
tell you
Mahomes, step to the side.
I'll tell you my Tom Brady story since we're talking about him now.
Let's fucking go.
An Eagle fan. I'm not a big Tom Brady fan anyway, but I never considered Tom Brady the GOAT for the longest time. Mostly out of spite. I'll admit it now. But I'll tell you.
Here we go.
I'll tell you the moment I realized, all right, I gotta stop kidding myself. You know what it is. Atlanta Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
That 23 we were at your house.
Reassured.
I remember it was us. Kyle was there, and I was like, all right, man. We were all like, this game is over. You guys were dead ass quiet. Me and Jace were like, that sweet, sweet silence, baby. Love it.
Yeah, but we knew it was home cooking.
I looked around the room and I said, that's it, man. Tom's a GOAT. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Then he almost did it against the Rams just last weekend.
I know. I was about to say, dude, if he did it last weekend, that would have reassured it. Boom, right? Like if
I
he
still
honestly
can't.
won that game and even lost the next weekend, he still goes out just absolutely wild for that game. But if they won the Super Bowl, that would have just been the absolute. That would have been the absolute true Tom Brady icing on the cake, is to be the top. But anyway, though, I mean, hell of a career, man. That's just absolutely crazy. The amount of games I went to as a kid, lucky because my dad had tickets and other people in the family. Absolutely blessed to watch Tom Brady freaking play football, man. Absolutely most fun guy to watch. So much heart in the game, everything. Oh man,
That
just
dog
crazy.
mentality, pick 199,
Pick
backup
199, man. Too bad I
quarterback.
didn't toss the shirt on.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild, dude. So, such a great career. I don't want to stay in it too long, but goddamn, TB freaking 12, man.
Hey man, that's some of the biggest news in sports right
TB
here.
freaking
So
12, biggest goddamn sports that we're gonna
Even
probably hear for the next fucking 20 years.
even as
until
a
LeBron retires.
non-Cat fan or Buck
Yeah,
fan, whatever you want to take it, like
so
this
like
news
5 years.
hits you right now. Like this is
Yeah,
the generational talent of our childhood is
hold
walking
on.
away from the
You
game.
guys take this over for a second. Hold on.
Yeah,
This
keep going.
Talking Brady.
this is nuts,
Home of the
dude. Like
sport.
this is like the equivalent of LeBron James or Michael Jordan walking out right now.
Yeah,
We're seeing the
that's
end
what I
of
was
an
telling
era
you. Next
unfold.
time we get this kind of news is LeBron's retirement easily.
Exactly. This is you don't get these kind of players every other season.
No.
You know, this is once in a lifetime kind of player
This is
that you just watched the last game of his career last Saturday.
mhm.
Now it's done.
This is what our parents dealt with when they saw their idols and their big names retire when they watched them all play. You
Yep.
know, so now it's our turn. We've experienced the whole Tom Brady, everything.
Now you just gotta wait and see who's going to be the next guy to really take that torch and be
Who's taking? Well,
the
Mahomes.
guy that's going to be
Mahomes,
leading the
bro.
generation.
Why
Oh,
Mahomes? Come on, is that a question?
I don't know.
All right, we're back. Here we go.
He's not. If not, hey, we're
12.
calling Josh Allen to be that man.
Yeah, maybe
Had to do
it's still pretty early. We're talking about the greatest of all time. He wasn't just good for 3-4 years. He was good for 22 years. This guy was the best. There it is.
So I'm talking about, baby. I couldn't.
He's so good. He
I
got
could
some
not
rules
do it.
made for him. Even
Oh man, come on. What you mean? Like what? Like when Peyton Manning got the 8 in the box, or was it 9 in the box, or whatever, plus
Yeah,
taken out of the game?
and even when he got older and it was harder for him to hold on to the ball, they put less air in it for him.
Oh, now we're taking him down just because I throw the jersey on.
Just
All
talk
right.
it.
There was all love here, and now it's going downhill. All right, we're gonna switch this up real quick. No, but seriously, though, man. Just to recap, crazy, absolutely crazy. What were you guys on anyway? What were you saying
Who do you
about that
think?
score?
Who's getting the torch passed to?
He said Mahomes or Allen.
I want it to be Allen, but it's going to be Mahomes. What do you
It
think?
can't be. It can't be. It's got to be like Aaron Rodgers or somebody of the nature like that.
It
Only
can't.
reason
Aaron
reason
Rodgers.
being.
Aaron Rodgers
Yes,
is one
yes.
foot out the door too. We're
Hear
Who's
talking
the
me
about
next
out. Hear
young
me
guy
out.
that's going to be taking over the NFL? Who's the next
But
face,
hear me out.
face of the NFL?
Aaron Rodgers is one of the next oldest. Literally, I think he's the next oldest quarterback right now. I haven't looked it up. It's not Stat Muse known,
Oh, we're
nothing
asking.
like that. Shout out Stat Muse. But it is pretty well closely guessed by me that he is the next oldest. And I think that with his absolute decision he has here to make, dude, he could even take to another team, maybe down south somewhere, and do something like Brady was trying to do.
So
He
you
may be able to even do it more long term. Who knows? He seems to really want to stick around more to me at this
You-
point. I mean, Brady's obviously a little further down the road.
you think Rodgers is going to perform MVP level for the next 2-3 years to stay in the NFL?
He's going to need the talent around him, that's for sure. And even with the talent, sometimes they haven't gotten by. But there's also been a lot of plays, so it's tough, man. It's that tough road you got to go along, and he's made it once. Made it once.
Fair
So
enough.
who says he can't make it again? That's for sure. But yeah, man. We'll get over lastly though to this last quick bit, man. After off of this Brady Rogers, the goats and everything news, retirement. Wow, still hitting me in the face like a truck. But the Bills and the Chiefs, man, to finish off last weekend. That was the absolute barn burner that every goddamn NFL fan was looking for, and the Super Bowl probably will not beat that game. How did
Definitely.
you guys like it?
It was a great game. All right, like it started off a little slow. Obviously, it wasn't like the offensive explosion out the gate like everyone thought it was going to be.
Yep.
Instead, that turned on in the last 2 minutes of the game, and neither defense could make a stop, and it was just touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Who could do it in less time? It was
Yeah.
fucking crazy,
It was
but
wild.
it was probably the game of the year. In all honesty, for sure.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. I mean, it's weird to say, but I know they had a lot more scoring in that. Was it Rams? What was that big game out in the Rams and they're playing out their first one of their games in LA that first season? They had a massive game against one of their divisional
I think
teams.
that
I
was.
think.
I thought it was Rams Chiefs when they went off.
Oh,
Like,
maybe no, it was. It was Rams Chiefs,
yeah,
dude, and it was like in the 50s or 60s, something like that. It was wild, high scoring. And honestly, I'll say right now, I feel like this game was even better than that, just for the fact of that ending was just so insane. Like, oh, I don't know if that'll ever happen again.
speaking of that ending, where do you stand on that? The coin flip decided the game nonsense.
Yeah, and the coin flip, it's a tough one, man. I mean, you look at it. I'm an old head kind of player when I talk about it, and I personally really like the old style where it's coin flip and a team whatever score wins the game. Your defense has really truly got to do the effort. But nowadays, I do understand and feelings, whatever you want to call it, people taking a little more back and having at least, if they hold them to a field goal, you get a possession. So that's cool and all, but if we're going to keep going further, how soft can we get until this isn't gladiator? Someone's just got to win football, and we're pushing TV back a million percent and all that. Like, not that it's a big deal. We love football, but are we going to get to baseball where we're trying to just elongate this into some extreme thing?
Yeah, it's not recreation soccer. Like we're not 12 years
Yeah,
old and everyone needs it to be fair and even and everyone needs to get a chance. Like your defense was on the field.
yeah, you
They're
had a
being
chance.
paid millions of dollars. I don't know the
Yep.
sum of the grand total of all those players on defense that were getting paid to go out there and make a stop. They didn't do it.
Not one of them Pro Bowlers. Remember that?
Not one.
I don't agree, but still,
Yeah.
just to be
Defense wins
funny.
championships. Just because yours was gassed is not an excuse. I mean,
Yeah, no, exactly, man. There's been a bunch of teams, especially big profile teams, that should make a good run that have had that happen to them in the past. And a lot of them were even before this newer rule came in before. So that's why, like you said before, and I say, I stand on that, man. It just shouldn't happen that way. But we don't want to kick him out of this one. So, Dan, let's kick it over onto you. And what do you think
right.
about this?
Yeah, well, as for the game, I mean, the game was amazing between two of the young quarterbacks going head to head, touchdown, 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 like Chase was saying. Great to see, great to watch. And I think we will see it again because Mahomes is still going to be playing.
Oh, yeah.
Mahomes has that magic. As for the overtime rule, I'm with both of you guys. We should not change it. And even when
Yeah.
we're looking at the numbers, there's been twice as many punts in overtime games than there has been touchdowns or field goals. So to say, like, oh, we didn't get a shot, like, man, step your D up because 39% of the time you receive a punt, you'll win the game in overtime. Looking through what's happened already. So more likely than not, in overtime, you're going to force a punt. And if you didn't do that in the first drive, man, that's on you. So
Yeah, no, that's for sure,
basically,
man.
that's what it's saying. So, I mean, hey, if you can't get that, then you're with the minority, and that's why you lost.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the only person I've known is in the own household, and that's Dawn that has said to me that she thinks they should just duke it out for an entire extra quarter. What do you guys think about that?
I recently liked
If there has to be a change, should I say?
I'd want there to be a change, if anything, to make it into like the college rules, but put them at like the 50 instead of the 25. But to
Oh
play a
yeah,
whole quarter, I think they would never go for that because that's the whole reason why they're doing it. Like, so a touchdown ends it is because they want it. They don't want to prolong the game in case of like, any
something needs to
injuries.
change. Like
exactly.
no one wants to see regular season end in a tie, right?
Yeah, that's more of the conversation. Is like we can't end in ties at this point.
Like
Like
in half the time,
that's been
those
the talk here
ties
forever.
come between two bottom tier teams that they just want to get off the field, but neither of them can go down the field and score a point. So
Yeah.
Plus,
Somebody's gonna change.
if you just played another quarter, you'd still end in a tie probably.
Well, I know,
Yeah,
but
right.
if you're starting the ball somewhere, further down the field than
That's
the
what I'm saying. Do
25.
college rules at the 50.
Exactly. Like looking back at the Steelers and Lions game this year, we had a Mason Rudolph in. He can't move forward to begin with, and then you had Jared Goff who threw one pass further than the line of scrimmage all game. So you got these
Yeah, that
two
was
teams
insane.
that just don't want to move down the field. It's like, so make them move down the field. Start them at like the 45 or 40 or something. So that way they can at least make it interesting. And you're not just seeing these two terrible teams struggle for another 10 minutes to end in a tie. It was
I
awful.
guess. I don't know. I just don't like taking out special teams in it. And besides, I don't know. It's just something to gifting a team yardage and all that. I'm just not wild about it. That's why I always stay back on the old head side and just, yeah, this better not change is how I'll put it. Because I'll say it now. If we change that, record books are just going to be destroyed because you have a couple overtimes a year. And especially if they're like anything long, like because of just how they change the rules and make it fair,
Well, record
then
books are already going to be changed this year anyway. We added up to 17 games, and the biggest
that is
controversy you
true.
have is TJ Watt. Look at the sack
Yeah.
record. He had 17 games, even though he only played 15. Now, and then him and Cooper Kupp
Yep.
breaking the receiving yard
Up as
record or
well.
whatever. So you can't compare what he did in a 17-game season to what Calvin Johnson did in a 16-game season. Because he had the whole extra 4 quarters.
Or not to
So,
shit on him, but Najee Harris with Franco Harris in that
Yep.
record. Like he did well, mind you, and especially until the playoff, which I hated to see in the playoffs, he did not fumble the entire regular season as a
Yep.
rookie. And doing that in general is insane in the NFL. In any sport, turning the ball over never even a game is a big thing. So that's just huge for an entire season. And he went off the rails this year, just going crazy. That was awesome to see that because the Steelers are always going to be rolling at least to a point to make a playoff run when they have those running backs going. That's but we want to get over here next though into the little thing we like to do called the Beast of the Week here. So we're gonna start off in the AFC, man. I hate this guy. I love this guy. I hate to love this guy, but this week in the AFC, we're going to go with this award to this man who, wasn't exactly a part of the offense in the beginning of the season, but that offense is stud filled, so we cannot be upset about it. But he certainly came on at the end of the year, and by the end of the year, he had 6 touchdowns in the season. But in this last game, he had an absolute wild one with 8 receptions for 201 yards and 4 touchdowns. Absolutely wild. Like crazy. Can't even believe it. 25 yards on the day for the average. Crazy, crazy game. But yeah, absolute playoff history. 5 touchdowns in the playoffs. 4 in one game. Crazy man. That is Gabriel Davis, who I'm going to present to you as our AFC players. Peace of the week. Hell of a man. And we're going to get over here next to the NFC so I don't drag her too long here. But we're going to get over to a man where he's on my fantasy roster, or should I say was, and I'm hoping I'm going to get him back in any way I can because he's an MVP caliber guy. He has an absolutely awesome quarterback compared to the guy he had before who couldn't exactly sling it too great, but he did what he could. So we're going to have to give it up to Cooper Kupp for our NFC players. Peace of the week. Man, he went crazy with 9 receptions for 183 for a 20 average and a touchdown, coming up with that massive, and I really mean massive catch at the end of the day, right there to set up that game-winning field goal. Just absolutely destroyed it and gave the Rams and the fans and everyone hope when everything looked lost over there to old GOAT TB12. So hell of a goddamn game by the Rams, and we're rolling right through and on into this next week. The Bengals and the Chiefs, man. How do you guys like this one? And rolling through predictions as well. So who the hell y'all got?
I'm rolling with the Chiefs, baby.
Yeah, me too.
I'm so torn because there's a big hype train going on with the Bengals this year, obviously, but I can't root for a team whose fan base throws garbage at injured players. I can't.
That is
So
true. It's
I'm
tough.
gonna
It's
go
tough.
with the high caliber offense of the Chiefs. They're taking it.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
looks like Kyle's gonna roll solo with Cincy.
Yeah, well,
yeah, dude, he's
wrong
rolling
for himself,
solo this
too.
week.
He's
It's
riding
gonna be a
Cincy.
wild game. I think honestly, Joe Burrow should be able to duke it out a little bit. But if we're being honest, Pat Mahomes has shown it every single time that he can do it right back in very quick fashion. 13 seconds, right? So,
I mean,
That's all you
Joe
need.
Burrow's never seen a stadium like this before. It's gonna be Arrowhead in the cold in February or January. Sorry,
January, not worries.
the loudest stadium in the playoffs.
Yep.
He's not gonna be ready. He's not. He won't be able to hear nothing, and he's gonna be shitting his pants.
Especially
is
on the
true.
other end with Mahomes and crew being in that environment before and being comfortable being at home. It's not looking good for Joe Burrow and Cincy, but hey, he can put up his numbers and he can surprise you. So we're going to be in for a good game no matter what.
Yeah, man. I honestly hate going with the Chiefs in this one because absolutely everything in my heart wants to say Joe Burrow and take him down because you know, all those things surfacing with Brittany Matthews here recently. Not to bring up too much paparazzi news or anything like that, but dude, going out there spraying people with champagne after a game. Like one thing I'm gonna just say right now, that's wicked premature to go spraying champagne and you just won a divisional round game and your husband has won the Super Bowl before. So you chill it out here, relax, don't get so drunk, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. And don't act so goddamn privileged too.
I
Because
mean,
goddamn, she said after that. Oh, sorry, what'd you say?
what would have pissed me off is you're sitting in 30-degree weather
Yep.
in overtime. You've been out there
Mhm.
for 4 or 5 hours in that cold,
Yep.
and you got this privileged bitch above you in a warm booth, opens up the
Yep.
window and sprays cold champagne on top of you. So now you're wet in that weather
Exactly.
to walk back to your
Yo, like
car.
that shit sucks, dude. I've been in that enough times in Gillette. I've had to sit in the snow, which I won't complain too much because I got to see the Flutie drop kick. Big game. Shout out TV12. But dude, just absolutely wild, man. I couldn't even believe that. Like, just absolutely crazy. She's sitting there spraying them and everything. And then I did hear, I'm not sure if it's positive because I didn't catch it on video when they showed it, but I heard she threw the bottle as well after, which I won't report that. I'm just gonna say I heard it as a rumor. So I don't know, man. I won't take that into account, but just for in general spraying them and acting like an ass, and then in general going on Facebook afterwards or whatever, any social media and being like, "Yo, this is absolutely insane that people are like jumping on me about this and everything," and it's like, well, yeah, like you're acting like an asshole. Like I don't know, is the money in your face too much to like see it?
Yeah,
Like,
from
come
what I
on.
saw, it looked like when she opened it, it looked like she literally just like poured it out on a bunch of people below her.
Yeah, well, she shook it up and she gave it a good old spray.
Yeah.
And hey, man, I've been involved in some of them sprayings before in the football field, and it's fun when you win and you're like actually a player and doing it. But like, if you're a wife, I don't know, like spray someone in the booth with you if you're that excited. I'm not about spraying people in the cold, and I won't waste too much time on it because we don't got to worry about them. But we're gonna get over here next though, because I'm just feeling that my prediction is going to land here. And I'm thinking that these 49ers might be kicking their way into a Super Bowl. And I literally mean kicking their way into a Super Bowl with little Robbie Gould there because he came up big last week. So what's to say this week with the Rams won't be a tight one? Line at 3.5. Rams. What do you guys think?
I'm going LA.
Yeah, I'm going LA too. It's my original prediction from the start.
And Kyle is as well. And gonna have to go solo again, boys. I'm actually feeling a game at a Jimmy G this time. I don't know why I'm feeling it. I feel crazy to say it because there's Von Miller. There is the absolute teeth and nails of every defense if he went to them in the league. Jalen Ramsey, a lot on that defense, but I'm still feeling a decent game because they got Debo, they got Kittle, they got a little bit of action. They got Mitchell back there in the backfield. Am I crazy or what?
I mean,
What?
the Niners did pull it off the last week of the season against the Rams. So like
Yep.
that mentality of the underdog.
Well, they've beat them both times.
Be there.
They beat them both times this year.
They did, but
Yeah.
now they're that team that they just wanted a chance to get in the playoffs, and now
Yep.
they're proving they could be there. So it's a divisional rival game. Anything can happen. They already had the upper hand on him in the regular season, so we'll see what happens.
I'll say you're not as crazy as Kyle picking Cincy over the Chiefs.
Yeah, and hey, and I'll be honest, I was just about right there with Kyle to pick him, but I just couldn't go with it at the end of the day. My heart, and I shouldn't say heart, but just everything in me says those Chiefs are probably going to roll. And maybe not by a lot, but that 7 line might be pretty close to real. I'm thinking it's a 5 if you want to take the ultimate. But
I would
this
love to
49ers
see
game,
a Chiefs and Rams Super Bowl. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
all that excited about a Rams or a
Chiefs 49ers.
Niners and Cincy. I would not be interested in that at all.
See, I wanted 49ers and Cincy from the start. Only reason being is that the playoffs in the 90s, I forget what year exactly, they went to the Super Bowl against each other and had a good old matchup. So just seeing them nowadays come together, and I think there's some real high-profile guys on either side, and just the teams kind of seem to match each other pretty decent. Just think they would mix it up well. But yeah, going Rams and Chiefs, man, and 49ers, and yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one, man.
We'll see.
But so what do you guys see in there on the other end of that game there? You think Jimmy G or Matt Stafford is going to be the man to hold them up?
It might not be either of them, Could be a different player. But
You think it's going to be another one of those locks in on the defensive side, low scoring, or maybe only defensive scoring?
hey, you know what I've been saying with Stafford? I mean, he could be the complete opposite reason. He could be why you lose, too.
No, it is true, man. That's definitely true. So, yeah. What do you think, Jace? You think old Jimmy G's going to roll or Stafford?
I don't know. It's going to come down to experience, and it's going to come down to who has more vets and presence to really make a difference. But obviously, I've been taking the Rams, but I could see a decent game out of Jimmy making it close. It's not going to be no blow up by any means. It's not. It's going to be a tough, hard-fought game.
Yeah, man, if the 49ers win this game, like I think they will, they're going to have to neutralize Kupp, and they're especially, and I really mean especially, they're going to have a touchdown or two thrown out of Jimmy G. That's for sure. Because I think they could run it in, but at the same time, that defense sometimes can absolutely attack with anything in that front. And Aaron Donald is just beating up anybody, even with a couple. It's crazy to watch. But won't keep on it too long, though. We're going to hop over here to the segment number 3. That is the NBA. And that's where Dan will take over because this man knows everything about that goddamn shit.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
except where Jimmy Grant's going.
Oh, man.
Hey, you know what? He might not be going nowhere. That's why I'm gonna keep that shut.
Right.
But speaking of trade talks, one of the bigger names that we've been seeing, obviously, is Ben Simmons. But another name that's been coming up with Ben Simmons that you might not think of right away is James Harden. And I don't know what's going on between him and Daryl Morey. They got some kind of love fest going on. They were together in Houston, and I thought that they didn't have a great relationship. But Morey wants Harden, and Harden said, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna test out free agency next year. That doesn't mean I won't re-sign with the Nets." But there's been reports that he doesn't like living in Brooklyn. He went on to say, "I don't know about any of those reports, man. I got an agent. If you didn't hear from my agent, don't mind no business. Our team, we're good where we're at. We're better than what our record says." Remember, this Nets team was literally inches away from a finals last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if Harden decides to come back. And so that still leaves everything up in the air for Ben Simmons. Last we saw the Kings. The Kings said we're out of the Ben Simmons talks. They were the only team in the league that wanted Simmons and Tobias both, or that were willing to take on both contracts, I should say. However,
you're telling me that for you.
The Kings offered everybody besides De'Aaron Fox and Halliburton, basically, and the Sixers said, and so the Sixers said, no, we want Fox or Halliburton, and obviously the Kings are not giving that up. And we saw, who was it? Rashard Holmes, Buddy Hield, and who was the other guy? Do you remember? Some other.
No, I can't remember exactly, but I remember you telling me about it. Oh, Harrison that's who it was. Yeah, right.
And so, if they want to do that for Simmons, even that's not even good. I don't even know why. I'm not surprised the Sixers declined that, but Like,
Yeah, I mean,
you're
they're
not
just
gonna get
playing
close
around at this
either.
point, though, man. There's been a lot of toss arounds with his name, and especially now with Tobias, and that's just a lot to take on. That's basically like the Celtics when they were trying to offload Garnett and Pierce and just be like, here, take this, and then the Celtics went and took who was it, Jared Wallace or whatever they're back on that massive contract for
Yeah.
absolutely whatever he was doing.
Mhm.
He played well, but one of
Yeah.
those things where you're like, God damn, man.
And
I don't know.
with Sack out of the question, that just leaves Atlanta as the only other team that showed any interest. And the Sixers offered Atlanta Ben Tobias for John Collins, Bogdan, and Gallinari, which I think is pretty decent. But again, they didn't want to take on that Tobias contract, so if they want to ship them, they're going to get rid of them individually. But like I said, Morey wants to hold on to Simmons to see if he can get a sign and trade maybe with James Harden. Do you guys
Yeah.
think James Harden to the Sixers with Embiid would be something to be thought of as championship contending?
I don't know,
I
Jake, what do you
mean,
think?
I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna get traded or not because he said he wants to stay and he'll end up going in the offseason maybe, but I don't know. I don't. And the Sixers are always that one team who like they're good, but they never can make that one extra step. You know how much star power they have, and it's like I'm not putting any eggs in that basket. Not.
The
Yeah, it's
East,
tough, man.
yeah. What do you
Uh,
think, Alls?
oh no, I was gonna say it's tough, man, because they really and honestly, like you're saying, they just don't get over the hump and everything. And Embiid being the guy he is, they need someone now to help him win. Because once his time gets a little past the prime, it's not going to be fun at that point. Probably going to be injured more, everything. It's going to be a rougher road. Then you're going to be right back in the situation you're in, even if you have another superstar.
Yep.
So for the huge thing right now is they got to make a move. They got to make a decision, like not fast, but within the next year. Even like Sack, we were talking about, man. Shout out over there, Kangs. But I don't know, man. They all gotta just stay put maybe for the year. Like there's so many teams that want to make a move, and it's like if you just sit on it, go, like do a small dealing, something like that, but sit on most of your stuff, especially Sack dude over there. They need to hold on to what they got, take a pick in before they make a decision in the draft there because they could be set up pretty decent next year if they do so.
Definitely.
I don't know about a cap situation.
Yeah,
Just
no.
crazy though.
And James Harden, he's not getting traded this year at all. By the deadline, he'll still be on the Nets. They're still going to roll it this year. I'm just talking for the
Yeah.
offseason. But
Yeah, no, for the off season, like definitely in the off season he could be, I would assume. But like, I guess this leads to another conversation. I should ask at least you guys this question. But is it now Kyrie that everyone's running away from instead of him running away from everyone else?
well,
Left two franchises. Now it seems everyone's leaving him in New York.
I'll tell
Ever
you
since
what.
he left Cleveland, I think people have realized that he might be the problem.
I think
I
the way he
mean-
left Boston, the way he left
Especially
Boston,
the way he left Boston.
I think that's what did it.
100%.
He was fine
Yeah.
in Boston. It's just when he left.
I don't know, man. I mean, he wasn't fine in Boston. I won't lie and be rosy cheeks about it. Like, nope, there was not many fans that really truly liked him. It was basketball strictly, and that was it. And even at times at that, like, he had a lot of lows when he was here. But beside all the issues he said he was going through and stuff, don't want to dive through too far into it. But old Kylie there, it just did not work out in Boston. I say that.
Yeah,
And
well, it hardly
moving-
does for
moving
those
through
guards
that.
over there in the Garden. But what I
Yeah,
want
for
to
real.
see, I'll tell you what, if the Nets and Sixers want to get a trade done, or if those guys, Kyrie and Harden are both on player options, they can both decline it. I want to see both of them with Embiid. You trade Simmons and Tobias for both of them, or get them both to sign there and dump those two guys out. I think that's a better situation than KD. Harden's had to deal with watching KD sit out now for a second straight year almost with this injury. Kyrie's doing his whatever thing, mostly just because of the state of New York. Get him in Philly, he'll play every single game, which he basically is now, anyways. But I think
Yeah, exactly.
Kyrie and Embiid and Harden, I don't want to say they'd be better without KD, but that'd be a lot more fun to watch. I think they'd mesh more well together than the Nets do now.
It's possible.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I don't know. I wouldn't go as far to say that be like crazy better, but
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I mean, just they need to all like not be with each other. Maybe this whole teammate thing doesn't always work out.
That's
Even LeBron's kind of seeing that.
Yeah. Do you guys think 3 superstars is too much on a team?
It usually is the right number if you have the right ones together. And hey, even the Celtics, they weren't a perfect pair or pairing, should
They
I
didn't have
say?
3 superstars. Even if you wouldn't, I wouldn't even consider Bosch superstar with the Heat.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, for their time, I guess, because their play was raised by other players around them, should I say?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I
Everyone
guess.
thought that as soon as the Lakers started making all these big acquisitions in the offseason, that it's like just ready to hand them the championship right when it happened. And now we're almost at All-Star break, and they're what, 9th?
And they're trying to get rid of him, Westbrook.
Yeah.
And they can't. The only people that want him is Houston for John Wall, which you're gonna get a clone copycat of the exact same player, and they want to give up. The Houston wants LA's 2027 first round pick, which we all know, sure, it's a freaking 5th grader right now, but that's going to be a great ball player when LeBron retires and the Lakers are poop again for consecutive years. So that's a very valuable pick. So Westbrook's probably staying on the Lakers, maybe his whole freaking contract. And the craziest thing about that is the Lakers could have had Buddy Hield for the same people they gave up. I'd rather have Buddy Hield, or they could have kept Montrez, KCP, Kuzma. What was it? Pick 22 last year. I think it was some bum, really, but
Something like that. Yeah.
This was a clear mistake on the Lakers, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not
on LeBron, rather on
big
LeBron.
Russ Wilson.
I was gonna say, is it LeBron?
AD and LeBron convinced management to get Westbrook instead of Hield.
That's crazy. That's what I always talk about at the end of the day with players having too much sometimes and they're not making the right moves. But hey, it doesn't always work out.
Most importantly, we talked about Frank Vogel's being on the hot seat.
Yep.
Thankfully, the Lakers have doubled down and said, "No, man, you're safe. Like, we understand the situation. Like, let him go. Take him as you will. Whatever. Your job safe." Yep. So clarity on that. Frank Vogel's gonna be fine. Even with this whole stupid Westbrook business. But let's move on to a more local Celtics drama, trade rumor type of thing. Brad Stevens, now the GM, first-year GM, said he's ready to make a move with this roster. It seems like he was scared to as a coach, but now he said changes need to be made. What do you think? What do you take of that comment?
I think that they're going to trade some bench players for some bench players and then get really excited about it, and that'll be about it. I don't think they're going to trade Jalen. They're not going to trade Jason Tatum, and they're not going to trade Rob Williams. So what does that really leave you to trade? J. Rich? He could go somewhere and be really helpful.
J. Rich will go for sure.
I could see them trading. I mean, definitely Richard, but I could definitely see them trading.
They need to trade Smart, but they won't.
Yeah, they're always weird about their
because they're saving him. They're saving Smart for that big package blockbuster deal. He's going to be involved in, if there's a big deal, he's going to be that piece that moves it. So I think they're holding on to him, waiting for that big trade.
Yeah, they're always known to have a lot of noise and do a lot of nothing at the end of the day at the deadline. So
every year.
I don't expect anything. If they do something probably small, who knows, man.
I don't know. You always see the Celtics with their toes in every little rumor of some superstar that wants out or whatever. Like, oh, he would fit great with the Celtics. I'm like, yeah, but it's never going to happen. He's not going to want to just pack up and move over to Boston for nothing.
But it's like old Belichick there, doing all your calls. You're making every single, check in to sure if you have a chance at anything. So, I mean, just how a lot of them roll it really at the end of the day. But the best definitely do that as well. So, I look forward to that, though, man. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about it? Like, at the end of the day, you think it's going to really happen? Because I think, like I said before about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I don't want to see either one of them go. But if it was one, it would just have to be Tatum. And it's nothing, no ill will, nothing like that. I just love the dog in Jaylen Brown. And as long as you're keeping Smart around, too, like, I mean, it's just one of those, like, things where it's too much of a mesh to get rid of it.
Yeah, I think even if Brown goes, I think Smart's in the deal. But I agree with Jay earlier. The whole Robert Williams thing, he's not going to be involved in any trade. I think the Celtics are holding true to him. They want him to be a big piece of their future.
I hope
especially
so.
keep Tatum and Brown both. So
They're
it's
just
really,
known to flip big men a lot, so that's why it's one of those
that's
things
why
where you really
I'll
hope
say it
not.
again, man. Al Horford,
Yeah, or
he's
Horford
on
needs to go.
he's on the trade block now.
Oh
So
yeah, he's definitely gonna go.
and
He's got
it's just that contract. I think there's he's Tice actually might be getting an offer from the Celtics. I think just as like a due diligence type of deal, probably just to get a small contract to put a roster spot. But like Jay was saying, the Celtics, they're always doing bench for bench. Do you guys, or even you, Hoss, as a Celtics fan, you see any kind of role player off the bench from another team that you would want the Celtics to snag for like one of your bench players, like Rich or I don't know, someone else?
Dennis Schroeder, he's a candidate to be getting sent out. He's on that 1-year deal, minimum contract.
He'll get pretty. I think he'll get decent money next year from whoever gets him, though.
Exactly. So his agent could probably be in talks with people now. Like, hey, come make a package trade with him, and he'll send there and he'll sign with you guys. If not,
he's seeming to prove himself right now. He's proven himself this year a little more than with LA. Yeah. That's for sure.
He won't get what he was offered at the Lakers, but he'll definitely get more than that, like $5 million or whatever he's making now.
The Celtics have plenty of assets to trade for bench
players.
They're not going to go and trade these guys for some starter. It's not going to happen.
You got to make a blockbuster trade, and we're all waiting for it. And the question is it going to happen? Brad Stevens is now in front office. Danny Ainge is scared to pull the trigger. We're going to now find out what's all about Brad Stevens and how he's going to handle the Celtics.
Yep.
Exactly. No, for sure, man. He's been sitting behind him for a long time, so he's been steady a little bit, and see when he makes that jump if it pays off or not.
And we're going to move over to Hall's second favorite NBA team, the Indiana Pacers, if I'm correct.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
So they now said that they're willing to hold on to Sabonis unless they can get something pretty decent back, talking about 2 first-round picks and a good young guy or just another extra player, which or maybe even 2 young players actually with those 2, or with one pick and 2 players, or 2 picks and 1 player. Doesn't look like it's happening around the league at all. But it does seem like Miles Turner and LeVert is going to get shipped out. It seems like if it's on the deadline, if it has to be, he'll be out of there. They want a first-round pick at least for him. I think he'll get a late one. He won't get a lottery pick. And then Miles Turner, it's either Turner or Sabonis. One of those 2 guys are going, and it looks like they're keeping Sabonis. I'm still with Miles to Charlotte.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough. Like, and I've even said, because, I'm a first-off Celtics fan. Before, I loved Miles Turner, all this. Now that they have Rob Williams and they've actually established him, it's not something I like anymore as much, because I truly believe, like, Miles Turner is kind of that – he's like that project guy that's really never going to finish off and be the cream A that you thought he was when you got him in the draft or, wherever you got him. He's still young, but I don't know, man. To me, he's a great player. He plays amazing ball. It's just the last couple minutes of the game. And that makes or breaks a lot of things, especially in the NBA when that shit drags.
It's the Ayton effect, I guess, huh?
Yeah, it really is, man. He ain't soft. He's a beast defender and stuff. He ain't soft like Ayton, like I believe, truly. But, yeah, I think, I don't know. It's just wild, man. It's wild. Because of that clutch factor.
There are a few teams who need some centers, more like some backup centers, really, though. Talking about the Raptors, the Hornets, who we just said, and also the Chicago Bulls need someone to back up Vooch, because sometimes we see Pa going out there at 5 even. Those lineups that they run small ball, we see it in the NBA a lot, but a lot of these teams need some backup centers. We talked about Al Horford. We talked about Sabonis. We talked about Turner. Do you think any of these teams, Jace, as a Bulls fan, do you think they're making any moves for any position, really?
I don't see us making a move for Turner, but we definitely need to make a move for a backup big man. And because right now with Paul being out with his wrist surgery, whatever, we got nobody really. So when Vooch comes out, it's a real small lineup, and that really doesn't really help us defensively at all. So they need to trade for somebody that can come off the bench and just get some boards. Stop somebody down low, like
I don't know who's going to be defensively at all either.
No, so I don't know who it's going to be. Maybe it'd be some random signing they find, but if they want to make any kind of run, they got to do something. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I don't think they need to make any move to make a run because they're sitting pretty top of the East. They do need to look out for a couple teams coming up. I think the top like 6 seeds are all over 600, I think, and they're all like 2.5 games of each other. So it's going to be a battle, especially with the All-Star break coming up. Before we get to that, just real quickly, there's a few more smaller names that we'll probably see around the deadline, so don't be surprised when you hear these names. First one is going to be Eric Gordon from Houston. He's been there forever. He's been a great, very small 5, a great guy off the bench, can sit in the corner, hit that 3 for you. Very, very tough. He reminds me of PJ Tucker. And when he went to the Bucks and they won a championship, he was a big part. He played great defense. I think Eric Gordon is smack dab identical to him. Another guy, Thaddeus Young, is expected to go somewhere. He can excel off the bench. He's been benched with the Spurs since he started playing small ball with the Bulls. So he might be he was coming off his best season then, so he'll probably go somewhere else to I don't know why he's getting benched. He doesn't seem too happy about it. So Thaddeus Young, another name to look out for that. And then
he's an older man, but he's been a pretty solid player, man.
He's been around the league a while.
There any rumblings about Darren Fox or Buddy Hield going anywhere or no?
Yeah, so De'Aaron Fox, they're definitely staying put with him because the Sixers tried to get him. Obviously, they didn't want to get him for Simmons, obviously, but like De'Aaron Fox and Halliburton are the 2 guys. Buddy Hield is the name that's rolling around. He has a big contract. He's getting up there in age, but he can shoot threes. He's a very, very great player. Obviously, the Lakers regret not taking him. Buddy Hield, I wouldn't be surprised if he stays, but I mean, if his name gets called in the trade, it'll be a big trade. I mean, it'll be big news.
Definitely.
But as for like some smaller names like Goran Dragic, no one thought he was going to stay with the Raptors. We all thought he was going to go join Luka and the whole international squad over in Dallas and buy out his contract with the Raptors. But he's still there, so he's probably going to get dealt. The Magic want some picks for Terrence Ross. He's getting old too. Another vet off the bench can maybe give you a little energy. Then
I'm gonna say he's a nice energy player.
Lastly, one of my favorite guys, my Villanova boy, Jalen Brunson. His name's been in the mix to be one of the better deals in free agency next year, but he's on the trade block too. So maybe it'll be a situation like a sign and trade eventually in the offseason or something like that. But this guy is a great guard. He can play 1 or 2 off the bench or even start on certain teams. So those are some names that I would look out for sure.
And that sounds like a lot of guys that could land on the Lakers.
Yeah. I'm sorry. And lastly, what's his name? Covington.
Pat Covington. Oh, dude, old Massachusetts boy.
Robert Covington.
Oh, Robert Covington. Okay.
Yeah, Portland. He's probably going to get dealt, but I wouldn't see his name in a trade until we see other forwards like Jeremy Grant or Harrison Barnes or even Marcus Morris. I think they're going to play domino effect probably for Terrence Ross.
Exactly.
Ross for Covington. Sorry.
What about Marvin Bagley? Anything going on there or no?
Last I heard, I don't know really, to be honest with you. The Kings, like Hollis and I were saying the last few weeks on the show, the Kings have a ton of guys that they can trade, and it seems like they're willing to give up anyone besides Fox and Fox and Halliburton. So Bagley, I think he's a free agent next year too, or maybe the following year. I'd love to see him go to Detroit. There's been rumors of that. Pistons need a starting center, and power forward and backup for both. So
come on, beef stew. Your ship has sailed on that one.
No, I mean he's a great guy off the bench. I mean he wasn't even a lottery pick, so he's at his expectations, I would say, but he's not like a starting caliber center. Great energy off the bench kind of guy, but Pistons definitely need a big guy. They'll probably be going there in the draft, to be honest with you, though. Even if they make a trade, I'd say both do a trade and go get Banchero or Chet in the draft.
There you go, man.
Before the draft gets going, we got to get through the All-Star weekend. which I'm
For
pretty
sure,
pumped
bro.
for. I don't know about you guys. We're 3 weeks away.
Yep.
February 18th is going to start off the weekend for the All-Stars. The NBA, quickly note that the NBA has incorporated a paid fellowship program for HBCU students, grad students and undergrad, for a chance for them to, just experience the whole NBA vibe, I guess, the All-Star weekend, hang out with players, learn some
There you
stuff.
go.
Pretty cool opportunity. And then there's going to be a small game with Morgan State and Howard University. Pretty good for the communities. That's really cool to see for the NBA. Moving
That's
on
awesome.
with the voting, a couple of controversies going on, but we're going to start with our captains. Our captain, again, for the 6th year in a row that we're doing this now, is LeBron James, getting close to over 7 million votes. And then KD, who's going to be sitting out, is also going to be drafting for the East. So the starters that we have, I'll list them out for you guys, and we can talk amongst that. For the East, we have Trae Young and DeMar at guard, which the first we'll just go through all of them first. DeMar and Trae at the guard, and then KD, Giannis, and Embiid for the big men. Moving on to the West, we got Curry, which we all kind of figured. Ja Morant made it. We all wanted Ja Morant to make it. I'm glad he's starting.
Oh, yeah.
Great for him. Then we got Jokic with LeBron. And then probably the most surprising starters, Andrew Wiggins. Any of these names really speak out to you? Obviously, Wiggins being one of them.
Yeah, obviously Wiggins stands out. I mean, I guess that shows how just upside down the West is right now. But, I mean, maybe sound a little biased, but I do think that Zach LaVine should have got it over Trae Young. I think there was a little moved around just to have like a real point guard in for that starting five, but
you don't think Trae Young's a real point guard?
No, he is. I'm saying they needed a real point guard in, so they probably put him over. Put LaVine,
Yeah.
but LaVine is having a great year despite having the fucking the injury he's had with his knee. He's been having a great year. He deserved to be an all-star starter. And then there's DeMar at a guard, which he's been playing for all year. So
that's the other thing. It's like, why is he's taking away LaVine's spot now? So
yeah,
it bowls either way, probably. I mean, hey, they might have LaVine at small forward, and who knows what these are going on with. And the other controversial thing is, like, with Wiggins, people are like, oh, Spida Mitchell or, all these Devin Booker. I'm like, those are guards. Wiggins is a forward. If Kawhi or Paul George weren't injured the entire freaking season, then they would be starting.
Exactly, dude.
Maybe
that's where
Pat could have made it, I guess, but
you said it's Ja and Curry though, right? For the guards.
Curry for the guards, yeah.
Yeah, starting. So like for me, it's like we're already just like Jason the other side, man. The East, it's the same thing over here, and they always do this kind of stuff, man. They got 2 point guards. Like, pick one. Stop being bitches. Just pick one.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be fair. You don't have to give them each. Just pick one, and then move on to the shooting guard.
Yeah, we
point guard or shooting guard. For real, man. Vote and get on it.
I kind of view Curry as a shooting guard, but I know he's listed as
he definitely is a shooting guard, but
no doubt about it. But he's listed as point guard, so I understand with you. But yeah, like Jay was saying, the West is so upside down. The West is complete freaking trash. And looking at like the votes for all of them, and all they got to make it too. It's like, and with Wiggins getting this is the exact reason fans should not have 50% of starter vote. Maybe they shouldn't have any vote at all, because the last few years there's been names like this, and like Jay was saying, like LaVine, he should be starting, he's playing like it. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter if you're playing like it. It matters if the NBA likes it, if the fans like it.
Yep.
Granted, they come hand in hand at times, but I mean,
hey, they got blackouts and stuff on TV and everything.
Yeah, so maybe do you think fans should stop getting votes? I mean, I don't know, it takes away kind of some of the all-star part, but it's like most of these guys would be in there if it wasn't for fan votes anyways.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, dude. Like, especially the NBA being such a big number of percentage for fans. I don't know about all the other leagues, but big thing with that being, if you didn't black out games, if you didn't have markets in certain places and you couldn't get other games, then it would be a little more fair to fans to be able to garner that, attention and be able to hold that weight. without being able to see them. I mean, I still believe fans shouldn't have nearly that much. It should be like 10%,
Yeah,
literally 10%.
25
If you
maybe
want
at
to
the
be
most.
nice, it shouldn't even have it. And media, get the fuck out of here. You should ask. You should ask all the players, and you should ask all the coaches and staff members, the coach staff members. That's about it. That's where it should end because those people. It's not to say other people don't know about it and stuff, but a lot of media people also have certain slights. So at the end of the day, you got to roll and go with what's in home and in the heart. So
Jay, do you feel a certain type of way about fan voting?
I mean, they shouldn't have as much control as they do at all. I mean, because then you do get a player like Wiggins in, and you get Levine out, and I don't know.
Stuck on this Levine thing, huh?
I'm salty about it. All right, I'm a little salty.
Hey, I
about
wanted
it.
Jeremy Grant to make it last year. He put up 20 a night.
Yeah. It's just I don't. They definitely have too much power. Just take it out completely. But if you take it out completely, then the fans are going to be obviously really upset. But
Yeah.
I think definitely leave it in the hands of professionals, especially when an all-star appearance actually has like contract incentives that go along with it. Like these players will get these big bonuses or don't get them if they're playing at an all-star level and they get starter or first team, whatever. And if the fans are like, yeah, you know what, screw this guy, I'm not voting for him.
It's also about that online presence too, man. It's gotta have that social media following, right?
Yeah.
Be
Can you
famous like
imagine?
that.
Can you imagine Andrew Wiggins' contract where he gets an incentive like, oh, you get an extra like $3 million if you make All-Star starter, and he's like, no, I'm not popular enough to do that. Like the
Exactly.
now he's here
Right.
starting. I wonder if that's ever happened, something like that. I doubt it because everybody probably bets on themselves.
Right, for real.
But thankfully for the reserves, for everybody off the bench for both sides, the NBA fans have zero vote on. It's going to be all about the players, the coaches, and unfortunately, like Hall said, the media, which I don't like either because they're honestly clueless for how much they talk to them.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's part of their job to like make controversy and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but like, dude, I don't know. I'd rather have.
Hey, we get back to it. We're on the Illuminati show right here. This is what we provide, dude, for everybody. They're over there spitting. I mean, I know it's every day and not once a week like us, but still, if you're going every day, come with some real stuff. Don't come with that soft shit.
Yep.
You know, you can't be just tossing something out there and making someone look bad. So, but I won't take away from you. You run back what you got.
Yeah, we'll just keep in with the All-Star. We got a little bit change up.
Yeah.
NBA changing up again, always doing better, it seems. They're replacing the team versus world on the Friday night game, which is usually the rookie versus sophomore. And they're going to start incorporating some G Leaguers and a couple more sophomores and rookies. What they're going to end up doing is for this Rising Star game is they're going to have 12 rookies and 12 sophomores, all chosen by assistant coaches in the league. And then they're going to have 4 G League players chosen by the G League head coaches. And then they're going to split up into 4 teams. So each team is going to have 1 G Leaguer, and then they're going to have 6 rookies or sophomores between the 2. And then they're going to play 3 games instead of just the 1. The first game, so the first game is, and these are all going to have target scores. Remember how they incorporated that the year of Kobe's passing? So this year, the target score, at least for this Rising Stars tournament, is going to be 75 in honor of the 75th anniversary team. Yep. So the first game, the target score is going to be 50 for both games 1 and 2, for when both teams face each other. And then the winners of those teams will play each other for the championship. And they're going to play to 25, equaling 75, obviously. Yeah. So that's going to be new for them. And in between the games 2 and 3, we're going to get a little bit of a new thing called the Clutch Challenge, which is where they're going to have 8 NBA players and a couple G League players. They're going to split up into teams of 2. And what the NBA is going to do is they're going to mark on the court a bunch of different iconic playoff shot spots. So we'll probably see Brown in the corner. We'll probably see MJ 17 feet away with his little push-off. So, and what's going to happen is these teams are going to have 90 seconds. The first team that goes up is going to have 90 seconds to hit all 4 or 5 of these shots. And however quick they do them, say it takes them 60 seconds. So now team 2, you have 60 seconds or quicker to get all these shots off. And so whoever gets all these shots off and makes them the quickest ends up winning. So that's going to be in between the 2 games before the championship for the Rising Stars. So that's going to be pretty cool. Can you think of any playoff spot maybe for the Celtics, Hollis, that you think they might put in there? Any kind of like Larry Bird or Isaiah Thomas?
I mean, there's definitely Larry Bird ones, man. There's too many, especially a lot of baseline ones because he was always nailing them with baseline. And I don't know, man. I mean, there's some ones too. Definitely the big IT Hawk shot. That was massive. Basically, put the game on ice. I know Smart had the putback dunk after when IT tried again for another put away 3 later in the next possession. But yeah, that was an absolute wild game, man. Loudest one ever in Tommy Heinson's time. Shout out to Tommy, rest in peace. But yeah, I don't know, man. Just that was probably one of the bigger ones, especially for being in the building and being like, right there and in it, immersed in it, dude. Just that one right there. But there's a lot of them, dude. Even Paul Pierce, he's had a bunch as well. There's a lot. Hard to pick.
It's going to be, I think it's only going to be like 5 spots. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what they pick.
Oh,
for
yeah.
that.
There'll be super iconic shots.
Probably
maybe Reggie
like
Miller.
Maybe like one from each era, like one from each decade.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say, what about the Reggie Miller shot when he first hit that one and like
Against the Knicks?
around? Yeah, against the Knicks, man. Old
Spike Lee
chokers.
game.
Old chokers.
Yeah, we gotta have Spike Lee at the game for that. Reggie will probably be broadcasting, actually. That'd be pretty
Yeah,
cool.
for real, dude. That'd be sweet. That'd be
Mhm.
really awesome. And they'd probably honestly do it because of that and everything. But that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Cool changes, honestly. I like
Yep.
it. Getting
And
fresh.
then, so that's going to be all day for Saturday. Then, sorry, that's going to be all day Friday. Saturday is going to be pretty normal. It's going to have the celebrity game, the skills challenge, which I'm not sure how they're going to do it this year because they started letting the bigs do it too the last few years. So, and they've been winning actually.
Yeah, it's nice
so
to see. They got a lot of athletic guys, man. They need them to run out there.
They'll have the 3-point contest, obviously, which is one of my favorites and my absolute favorite. Coming last on that night is the dunk contest.
Ooh, baby.
And who was it? Someone that just got announced is going to be in the dunk contest. Cole Anthony for the Magic. He's not one of those. He's not one of those guys that you expect. I mean, I kind of wanted, I want to see Levine. I want to see Morant in there, and hopefully the names get brought up. But if they don't want to do it due to injury and all that, that's fine. But Cole Beasley, he has that bounce. He's got a pretty good vert. He's not one of those guys you really expect, but I'm excited to see what he can bring to the table.
Yeah, man, he's always had bounce, bro. Bounce like maybe an old style Jeff Green or Gerald Green, should I say, the real cupcake dunker over there. But I don't know, man. I mean, there's been a lot of great dunk guys in the league, especially even White back a couple years ago. He was awesome, putting on an absolute show. Usually it's, and not to say usually, but 50-50 whether it's going to be a decent name guy or it's going to be an absolute no-name, right?
Or if the NBA is gonna rig the winner again, or Dwayne Wade's gonna learn how to count to 10.
Yeah, right. For real, dude.
But hey, Jay, you got anyone that you think that you want to see in the dunk contest in a few weeks?
I was actually really excited for Cole Anthony.
Yeah,
he was the one guy that I was hoping that was going to get named in, and then just a couple hours ago he did. So
nice.
The guy that I was going to bring up ended up. Yeah,
that's good. I was telling Hollis I didn't even expect
him. Or I would really, really love to see Hollis might like this one, Javonte Green.
Yeah,
that guy has got some
wild.
ups.
Oh yeah.
So
he's still over there on the Bulls with you guys, or what?
Oh yeah, he just came back.
Dude, nice. He's been massive, honestly. He's such a spark plug. I liked him on the Celtics, but they just have too many of those guys, or had too many before, should I say, and they don't lock him away.
I think he really found his role this year. He's been a real great defensive presence. He guards anybody. And then down the court on fast breaks, he's just putting on a show. So I would really like to see him in it if that's possible, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. I always loved him on the Celtics for that high energy, high motor, always moving. Hands are everywhere on defense, if you're saying. And yeah, dude, especially for a team like you guys going down the stretch, especially with these injuries right now, he's going to be huge to hold it together in that back end. They need some, maybe a little bit of play in the back half of the second half and just rolling in before I can bring those big boys back.
Yeah, I was telling Hollis I want to see my boy Ja get in there. He's probably got the biggest bounce in the league right now. He can get his head over the backboard.
Yeah, but they got to
But
make a playoff run, yo. He's young. He's got to be spry for all that, though.
I know if I were him, I'd probably be sitting out. Like I don't want to risk that. But man,
Oh,
as
yeah.
a toughest fan, man, I would pay to see that.
Yeah.
But what I would just kind of think would be funny right now is if we were able to vote in Zion Williamson to any of the All-Star Weekend events.
Who?
Like 400-pound freaking slob comes in.
He's an offensive. He's a defensive lineman at this point.
He seriously
Oh, yeah.
is. Dude.
He's a nose tackle.
It's so funny. I always bring
Gumbo.
Zion. He's such a clown. And then just to finishing off the All-Star Weekend, Sunday is going to be all normal again. It's going to have its usual NBA Legends brunch where all the legends from each decade are going to get together, have a couple video clips and stuff like that. And then they're going to have a G League showcase game where the players from the Ignite are going to come out play against each other. A little bit more exposure for the G League, which is very, very up and coming for the NBA, very successful.
Sure, dude.
Great
Definitely
for them to do that. Or I mean, we know it was the G League before, but to make it what it is now, or sorry, we knew it was the D League before, and just to make the G League to what it is now, it really is a whole new league. It's not just a name change. So it is really cool that they're doing all that.
Yeah,
But
for sure, man.
we're gonna get on to something even cooler. We're gonna get on to our favorite part, the Beast of the Week. We're talking for the East,
Yeah.
for the West, who was playing the best of the last week since we last talked on last Friday. For our top performer for the East, this man has been averaging 36.5 points, 12 boards, 5.8 assists in his last 4 games. He's shooting 51%, almost 30% from 3, and almost 80 from the line. And he's been considered to be having off nights on these times, including 2 blocks a night. Give it up for Joel Embiid for being our beast.
Peace.
Oh,
the week. Hell yeah, man. Hell of a performance.
Yeah, he's been having a great week. He scored 170 points in just over 128 minutes in his last 4 games. I'll say that again, 170 points in 128 minutes. That's 1.32 points per minute. This is a run that we've only seen once in the NBA. We got to date all the way back 7 decades ago to Wilt Chamberlain breaking his record. So,
And isn't he the most Wilt-like guy?
Hey, who knows? I don't know if I go that far, but he's
built
playing.
like all that.
Joel's my MVP this year. I know I change it every episode, but Joel's my MVP, bro. I gotta lock it. I don't think he'll win it, but come on, man, give it up. But when the guys,
Philly boy,
we're gonna go over to our West, to the West side of the NBA. Another MVP candidate in the same position. The last 4 games, he's been averaging 28.5 points. 12.8 rebounds, 9.3 assists. He's been shooting almost 60%. He's been shooting an elite 40 from downtown, 93 from the line with 1.5 steals per game. Nikola Jokic is our beast
of the week. Hell yeah, dude.
Also, a quick note for the Joker. He just became the only Nugget to have 5,000 boards and 3,000 assists. It's an amazing feat for any franchise. He's the first Nugget to do it. He's also the first player within this feat to do it within 500 games. We saw it last, the 5,000 boards and 3,000 assists. Last time we saw that this quickly was none other than Larry Legend with the Celtics. He did it in 515 games, and Jokic just did this in 494. So everyone's breaking records and tying records of these legends that we didn't think might be touched. So it's great to see these guys really show out this week. Very deserving of our Beast of the Week.
Hell yeah, dude. Awesome Beast of the Week. They went off in their respective sports and everything. And a huge, and I want to say huge shout out to StatMuse, because they always provide us with the beast stats that we need to get these beasts of the week and all these little intricate things in between with games and everything, and the minutes per scoring. Absolutely crazy, dude. They do it all. Follow them on Instagram, all that shit. But yeah, dude, we're getting over here in this back end of the show. We're coming up to the caboose over here. We're gonna get to that question of the week, and we're gonna start with last week's, dude. It is which divisional game is going to have the most total points. And I know I was gunning it first for that old Rams and Bucks games. I thought it was going to be rowdy, but ended up being the Bills and the Chiefs, man, the absolute wild ones. So anyone that picked them, I applaud you. You got it right. That's all I can give you. I can't give you anything else. But we'll get over here next to this next question of the week, man. And for this week, it has to do with last week and everything that went on with the craziness that everybody is still talking about, crying about, breaking TVs about, or maybe just jumping on some more tables while you're getting drunk up there in Buffalo. But should the overtime rules change at all, or should they stay the same? And part B to that, if you do think they should change, why don't you go over there in that Spotify comment, pull up on there and show us some stuff, or also go on one of those social pages we have, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever you want. Send them in. Let us know what you think of your idea because we need to know. So, yeah, that's basically all we have for today, folks. And before we get out of here, I just want to say one last thing. TB12 forever, man. 6 rings and finer things, baby. That was absolutely sweet. Fine as wine. Ah, perfect. Love you, TB12. Thank you for everything you did for the New England Patriots. Sucked to see you go to Tampa, but hell of a goddamn ride for the absolute GOAT of the NFL and for someone that will probably never be matched, at least in my lifetime. Love you. All right, boys, you got anything else for this or what?
There is one thing I want to add. In the coming weeks, this coming week, the Washington football team will be revealing their new name and logo and jersey. So we might throw something down in the poll to see what you guys think is going to be their next name. I think it's down to like 4 options or whatever, like the Admirals and Red Hawks or whatever. So we'll see what you guys think.
We'll see how it goes, man. It's going to be a really tough one, but I mean, it's whenever they release that thing, they've had so long to do it, and they've probably changed a million times over. So who knows? Maybe they'll just send it out to the fans eventually to poll on this thing.
Let's hope this one's not offensive.
Yeah, seriously, like too offensive. Jeez.
Well, Tuesday they're going to announce it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Is that for sure? Let's hope they do it this time.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
I'm not going to take their word for it.
Yeah, I know. Even the Sean Taylor stuff, man, that could have been a long time too. But
that was
yeah, right. Crazy, man. Absolutely wild. But I mean, with everything falling apart there in Washington, yeah, that's how it goes, right?
The stadium.
It's the way she goes. Yep. But yeah, man, if that's good for you guys, I'm all dry on all these topics at this point as well. But yeah, like we said, shout out to everybody that's been there around, and TB12 to the day I die. You guys stay where you're at, do what you do. This storm out here is absolutely wild, so I got to go back out in this stuff and do some cleaning off of everywhere and roofs and everything. So you guys have a good week. This show was awesome, and that's a wrap.
See you next week.
See you.
Hell yeah. We out.